guys, it's Tango Oscar Mike, and I thought I'd do a follow-up. This is the battery backup system that I installed September of last year, and it's been running great. We actually lost power yesterday, and the system kicked on and took care of everything. We didn't have any issues. So these are EG4 LL batteries that I got from Signature Solar. There's 4 of them in here. They're 48 volt, 100 amp hours. There's still room to put 2 more in here if we wanted to. If we lose power, this will provide enough power for us at the house, if we're conservative, for over 24 hours. Beyond that, we'll have to hook up the generator. I don't have solar panels yet. That's still a plan, but I just haven't done it, hadn't had the budget to do it. So I do want to put out a bunch of solar panels and get that system completely off the grid. Right now, it's being charged by the grid. So it doesn't feed back into the grid because I'm not generating any power. But it's being charged off the grid. So these batteries are charged. They're maintained by the charge controller, which is built into the inverter. That's all. It's hooked up to the grid. And right now, it's a pass-through. So the power comes in, goes to the inverter, and goes out to the house. Now, it doesn't cover the entire house. It only covers the major things we need. It's about half the house. And if you can see, there's 200 amp panels up there, and one is on battery, the other one isn't. The stuff that isn't on battery, like the air conditioner for the house, the furnace, they take too much power, and I can't run them off battery. So we have a fireplace for wintertime, and in the summertime, our house actually doesn't get that warm. It's well insulated, and we could survive without air conditioning for a while. I'm not worried about that. In the wintertime, we have the fireplace, we have a big supply of wood, and yeah, that's all we use anyhow normally in the wintertime, so I'm not worried about that. Washer and dryer, that kind of stuff isn't on because I don't consider those critical items. I'm concerned with a power outage, for up to maybe a week. Beyond that, then you have to wash clothes and stuff, but we can go a week or two without washing clothes. We have enough clothes that we don't have to wash clothes. So just the primary stuff. Our refrigerators, we don't want to lose any of the food we have in our refrigerators. Sorry, our air conditioner actually just kicked on. The water pump, because we have a well, so it requires electricity to run the water pump. Our water heater, so we can take hot showers. Our internet, even though we lose power, we may lose power and the power lines go down, our internet is always still up. We never lose internet, so I keep all the internet gear up and running. And then our TVs and entertainment, just stuff to keep us happy. And then we can cook. We can use our stovetop. We can use our microwave. We don't have the oven on the system because we don't think that's a critical item to be on. And I only had so many circuits to use. So. But that's it. It's been going great. I have had some issues with one battery, and every once in a while I've had one battery literally go from 100% charge to saying it was 0% charge, and then it runs through a charge cycle. I don't know if that's a normal balancing thing, but it's only happened once or twice in a year. But yeah, we lost power yesterday, and like I said, this is on pass-through. The grid power comes in, goes through the inverter, and gets passed through to the house. If the power goes out, I don't have to do anything. It's within milliseconds when the power goes out, the inverter kicks on and starts pulling power from the batteries. If it's less than 500 watts, you can't even hear it. It doesn't make any noise. Now, if the demand is more than 500 watts, then the fans come on and it makes a lot of noise. And the reason I say that is, when it does that, it is noisy. The fans on the inverter are very loud, and I can hear it upstairs. And it also generates RFI when it does that. It's not bad, but it does generate RFI. So that's something to consider when you're looking at putting in a system. Uh, would I recommend this over a generator? That's a tough call, and that's for everybody else to decide. For me, a whole house generator might be better if you have a supply line of natural gas or propane. Out here, we don't have natural gas or propane. The only utility we have is electricity. So if we wanted to run a whole home generator, then we would have to have a big propane tank and worry about getting propane for the tank and everything else. The hardest thing about putting in this system was getting all the materials, because there was an extreme shortage at the time, and then doing all the wiring. I wish there was more room in this corner, so it was a little bit more situated, but you know, if I was building a house new, it would be different, but this is the room I had. We have a water softener here for our well water, which takes up a lot of space. I carried down 600 pounds of salt the other day, which will last us like 6 or 7 months. But so it's the room I had to use, and this rack is on wheels. I could always move it around if I have to. The system's been in place for 10 months, and we've been happy with it. Yeah, like I said, it's nice not to have to wheel a generator outside, because we did have a manual transfer panel outside, but when we'd have a storm, I would have to go out and hook up the generator just to do simple things in the house. I would worry about the refrigerators and our deep freezer and everything right away, so I wouldn't want to go more than 4 to 6 hours before I got power back on. And if that happened in the middle of the night and there's no maintenance, I don't have to do anything. These are lithium batteries. I don't have to do any maintenance on this system. I don't have to worry about fuel or fuel stabilizer or draining the tank after I use it, or any of that stuff. So for me, this has been well worth it. I got everything from Signature Solar. They didn't sponsor this video. You can get it wherever you want. I wanted the EG4LL batteries because they're just set up well. The breakers are installed. There's breakers on them. There's the monitoring, the auto balancing. I like having this rack because I don't have to worry about anything getting in here. If you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, this is a battery backup. We're not running the house off grid. This is just to keep us going for short outages, which we have all the time. Like I said, we had one yesterday with some high winds and stuff, and it's been working really good, and it's a really nice peace of mind that if we go away on vacation and there's a brief power outage or something like that, I don't have to worry about coming home to a deep freezer that's completely thawed and ruined hundreds of dollars worth of meat or anything like that. So that's another big thing and another benefit over a cleaner generator. I highly recommend looking into some type of battery backup system if you're building a new house. Building a system like this isn't cheap. The wiring and everything is a big pain in the butt, especially if your house is already built. If you're building a new house, all of this becomes so much easier. So if you're looking at building a new house, I would highly recommend this. But it's been working great, and I just thought I'd give you a little update on it. Again, no complaints, and I'll let you know in another year or if anything else happens. This is Tango Oscar Mike saying 73. Take care.
Tango Oscar Mike.